Good evening, Professor Buckman and classmates. My name is Nia Hughes, and my final project was on the American Red Cross and the misappropriation of funds in Haiti. The American Red Cross and the misappropriation of funds in Haiti. Just to give you a little background about the American Red Cross, a very brief background, it's a nonprofit organization that was founded by Clara Barton in 1881 in Washington, D.C. The purpose of American Red Cross was to raise funds, or is to raise funds, for humanitarian causes and disaster relief efforts, primarily in the United States. So fast forward to 2010, a 7.0 magnitude earthquake hit Haiti, pummeling the country and killing 220,000 people, although estimates are higher. Donations poured in, totaling approximately $488 million. The American Red Cross promised to help build homes, rebuild the country, but only 6 homes were built. A third-party investigation by ProPublica accused the American Red Cross of using funds for administrative expenses and other expenses, and also just basically misappropriating funds altogether away from the causes in Haiti. For my literature review, I chose the TARES model. The TARES test is a way to encapsulate the most common ethical principles of persuasive communications into one model. And this is from Freeman article in journal article in 2009. So the T in TARES stands for truthfulness of the message. The American Red Cross was not immediately forthcoming in their response to claims about misappropriation of funds. They were very defensive in their communication. The A stands for authenticity of the persuader. The credibility of the American Red Cross is weak. The public no longer deems the organization as trustworthy, as evidenced by the most recent coverage due to Hurricane Harvey in Houston, Texas. Respect for the audience. The nonprofit has not shown respect for donors' money by allocating funds to internal expenses and away from those who truly need it. The E stands for equity and fairness of the appeal to the audience. The American Red Cross has taken on a power position by primarily communicating in a one-way symmetrical manner. They've done this, and we'll show this later, mostly in blogs and press releases. The S stands for social responsibility for the common good. The ARC really needs to go back to the basics of their mission to restore their damaged reputation. So some of the communication methods they have chosen to use, as you'll see on the left-hand side of the screen, they have done some tweets. Most of the executives have tweeted that they were not aware, or they don't know about the donation policies, where the money goes, how much is actually donated to those in need. The American Red Cross themselves they've gone on record to say that 91 cents of each dollar does go to those in need. And you'll see on the right hand some media statements. I found a lot of press releases on their own website. The primary method that I used to find this information was via a Google search, but a lot of this came up on their own website as well. So in the middle, we have an interview that was done most recently by the CEO, Gail McGovern. She did an interview on CBS News where she was talking about Harvey, and of course she got some pretty hard questions about how much had been raised to date for Hurricane Harvey, and she wasn't able to disclose that information. She didn't know. That set off bells and alarms in the media and in the public, and they were basically just kind of raked over the coals for that. One thing that the American Red Cross has done well is that they have, we're going back to the earthquake in Haiti, they started a website to address some of the questions that people had. In the bottom left hand of the screen, you'll see that's from their website, and they have information there that talks about how much was raised, exactly how the monies were spent, how many people they partner with to help, why they weren't able to do as much as they had hoped. And on the right side at the bottom is basically a Q&A for people who had questions about the donations and why only 6 homes were built with $488 million. It was reported that that 125 million went towards internal expenses. That is a lot of money to basically pump back into your organization. So some of my recommendations are to just going forward to be as truthful and transparent as possible with everything that they do. I think that it's best to always have some form of communication going out there to the public about how much was raised, how much of that money is being donated to those people that are in need. That's just going to be basically their saving grace going forward. And again, two-way communication is going to be extremely important. Hopefully they have learned and done some kind of organizational learning going forward about how they should communicate, when they should communicate, and things of that nature. Another thing that came up was, and I'll talk about this on the next slide, is that they realized that helping people in the United States is very different from helping people in other countries. That's a global perspective. This is now a global effort, and they did not take some cultural differences in account. And most importantly, it's time to refocus on their mission, refocus on why they are doing what they are doing. If they need to do some cuts, which means some kind of corrective action needs to be taken, then now is the time. Really, years ago was the time, but now is the time to do that going forward to save their company. I think from 2016 to 2015, there was like $150 million deficit from the previous year. So they have definitely been hit very hard in their pockets. In conclusion, the American Red Cross should really seek to be as truthful and as transparent on all matters related to donations going forward, with reports and other data, quantitative data, qualitative data. They really need to be in the trenches, getting their message out, focusing on communication. I thought their interview was a very good way to communicate with the media and the public. They need to do more interviews, but they need to be very knowledgeable about the information when they go on these interviews. The company also needs to be very knowledgeable about cultural differences that could hinder relief efforts, as I mentioned. Again, going back to two-way communication, keeping those lines of communication open to the public and the media. People are very sensitive about how they donate money, when they donate money, and who they donate it to, and they want to know that people are getting those funds. I donate to American Red Cross, or at least I used to. I did in this Haiti um, during this disaster relief, and I was very. So in conclusion, I learned a lot about the American Red Cross in this particular incident. I know that they are still taking a lot of slack for their policies and how they have not been appropriating funds and allocating funds like everyone thought that they were. For many, many years, they were the organization, along with like the Salvation Army and others, that were the front runners for fundraising, and they had a very esteemed reputation for doing so. And hopefully they can get that back on track by doing the right thing, being ethical, and doing what they said they would do. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.